Hello, internet. Yeah, I wanted to. I'm going through. I'm vectorizing a lot of this stuff by hand, so I wanted to make a quick video, um, chat some shit while I get in my bag here. You know, yeah, I had some thoughts on different things. Some people know I'm alone more often than not these days, and but I'm happy. You know, I'm happy. But you miss some things from past lives, and I'll say it exactly like that. You really do miss some things from past lives because if you look at my past, some people know some of the shit. If you even look at my YouTube channel, if you go back 100 videos, and there's a bunch of videos that have been, I don't say privated, but there's actually a lot. I use YouTube almost as, the shame. The one shame thing is just like I hate the idea that whenever you die that all your fucking shit is just going nowhere. You know what I mean? I just hate that idea. Like all the fucking, you know, even the shit that you don't want anybody to see, even the shit that you want to like, you're like, I'm taking my fucking grave. Even that shit, you're like even that's just like it's going. It's just, and there's no one's ever gonna know about any of it. It's just gonna be part of this your story. That's just you're fucking dead. I just hate that. It is what it is. It's not like you're gonna go out and tell people all their bullshit, but it's like, yeah, it's all gone. I think about that sometimes. Anyway, you know, uh, yeah. Some people have seen on my if you see on my channel, I used to be way more wild, and I used to talk to way more people, and I think that's the biggest thing I miss about this life versus my old life um, is people. Sounds corny. Sounds corny, but I I used to, I used to talk to a lot of people about a lot of different things, and I think even back in the day, I don't think we weren't talking about like, but I remember even back in the day, yeah, we used to debate. Did I remember being in? This is one of my. It was a terrible. It's like I almost lost these girls as friends back in the day. I remember St. Patrick's Day, man. Everybody was, people were wild. And of course, West Virginia University is one of the most crazy places for, uh, for St. Patrick's Day. It's literally one of the most crazy places in the country, or it used to be. Now, I don't know. But, and I remember, we were in a room with these girls, and just, I was watching, shout out to people who know Stefan Molyneux. I was watching a lot of Stefan Molyneux at the time. So I was heavy on peaceful parenting, and I still am. I still believe all that stuff, but I think I have a different perspective now on. I have a little bit different perspective, but my perspective at the time was like, listen, the women are always at fault. But I was like, it was a radical position where I was like, yeah, like all situations, every situation, and the girl was like, wait, but my mom was like abused, you know, by my, and I was like, yeah, she chose the wrong guy. She was like, huh? She was like, you're fucked. Um, and it was fucked. I laugh about it now. I apologize to her immediately. But I remember, like, you know, I bring up that story because it's like we would argue about, we would chat about everything, man. We got deep on a bunch of shit. Yeah, by the way, like, we were friends for years and years after meeting that girl. And yeah, I think it was like literally the next day I was like, yeah, that was a bit wild. She was like, yeah, it was. And I was like, no, my bad. Sorry. So we were good. We were good. But I do miss that, and especially when I'm doing all this, like these new ideas, like this idea here. I'm actually meeting with a girl in a few hours. A girl that I'm paying. Can you imagine? Paying somebody for this. Uh, but it's like I'm meeting with a girl in a few hours just to chat about this. this language learning app idea, you know. Just like a. Now, by the way, like another reason I'm paying her is just I need like she's a dude. This lady, I look at her and listen. I don't say judge a book by its cover, but I was looking for like a visual novel person, if you want to say it like that. Um, what the hell? What the hell's going on here? Oh, inside. I was looking for a visual novel stuff because I'm making this game. It'll end up being more like in the genre of a visual novel. But I looked at this person and they're like, you know, I don't want to judge a book by its cover. I mean, what I'll say is like this person looks perfect, okay, and they have like 1,000 ratings, and you look at them and you're like, yeah, yes, this person knows the field, all right. And so you want to go to somebody. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you go to if you go to a gym, you want your trainer to be yoked, right? You want your trainer to be one of them motherfuckers. Like, take somebody's head off. You want your trainer to be, if for the girls, you want your trainer to have like a fatty, you know? It's, and by the, you can be a nerd, you can be like a nerdy gym trainer thing, and it is, and it can work, and you can know a bunch of stuff, but, if your trainer lives it, it's a lot easier of a sell, and this girl lives it, and so, or it looks like she lives it. She looks the part, so I'm excited to meet her, but one of the big reasons I'm meeting her is just to bounce the idea off of somebody else, and just to even get anybody else even a little bit excited about it. Get somebody else involved, get some of the ideas out of my head because I have a lot of ideas, but they're sitting and like they're sitting in there, they're in there, and I even like I'm working on getting them out, and I've written some stuff, and we have some AI, but man, this is one of the fields. I have some level of humility where I would say, like, dude, I've never written anything in my life. I haven't written a damn thing, like, creatively, you know, and art wise, I've done a tiny bit, but like, and I am proud actually. I designed the. I'll actually pull that up real quick. My brother, my brother, he they started a company recently called Bloodroot Tattoo. Um, and I started to design not the logo. The logo was done, but I was designing. This was going to be part of the. I was going to do an animation in Rive, and this is like the theoretical thing. So I was going to have the flower. This is a bloodroot flower growing out of the tea there with the roots, and I was going to have the an arrow going down. It's pointing. And by the way, like this was a bitch. Dude, this was a bitch. Because, hey, listen, you can get a couple flowers off the internet. You can use Midjourney and all that, but like you get to actually get a vector to actually get the flower, the vectorized flower, and then to actually get all of the man, this was hell. This was hell. Like I can't tell you how much of a struggle this was. And then even to get the gradient kind of vibe right, this took me a whole day, but it was such a joy. The creative part is such a joy, man. Sometimes I feel like a little bit of a fraud because like I feel like half of the art, a lot of the art I do, if you want to call it art, it's an amalgamation of 20 things. I get like I have like you know, like the tea, so much the tea, so much of I got like the flowers from. Do I have flowers in this? Um, yeah, I have the leaves. Oh my God, you can see some of the images here. Yeah, that's a good example. You guys get to see some of this shit. I get to show some people I'm not evil. Um, like the amount of images that we have back here as like inspiration. Let me turn off the. Let's turn off the. Um, yeah, like, what is this? What is this? So we have like a lot of. So I pulled, I was using like Recraft. Man, I had so many things, but like, so all these things that were pulling as inspiration, trying to kind of find the moment, find the shading, find the, because it was so much. So I don't want to overcomplicate the flower, but I also don't want to undercomplicate it either. You know, and these like this style of leaf is difficult. And the other part is I want to keep the integrity of the logo. I want to keep the T as is. You know, I was playing around with ideas um, for the leaves here. You can see like the attempt, right? You can see the what are we doing here? You can see the attempt, man. Like I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it in the end, you know. But you know, we ended up with something still, and I was proud. I'm proud of it, you know. Proud of what we ended up with. But it was hell. It was a bitch, and you know, we ended up with something that works. How did we even get there? Oh, yeah. Like, look at this. Even this, like, I made this, but then it didn't line up with the T. But I made this originally, and this was supposed to be the T, but it just didn't work. So then I had to like rework everything, you know, which you know I had to rework everything into the form that you see here um, with this one. You know, that's how we ended up with this, and then of course, and then the root system. I don't have any. I don't think I kept the root references. I didn't keep the root. It looks like I didn't keep the root references. Do I have them? No, I guess not. Yeah, but can I undo? Did I do any changes? Yeah, okay. I don't want to undo anything. But yeah, so I mean, that took a lot of effort, and that took a lot of time. So sometimes I feel like a fraud, you know. But like, it took no. Listen, I still did it. Even this right here, like, I'll show you guys a little bit of the stuff that we're doing. Like this, you know, this character. It's like this is from you know I bought this. I bought this character, right? And so that's fine. Because like one of the you know off of Shuttershock. So listen, hey, purchased art, right? But even this, if you look at the actual the thing here, like we have to. I talked to you know I have this girl that I'm using for Rive, um, and if you look at this, right? So this is vectorized in a strange way where but it's vectorized, which means that if we grab an individual piece, for example, like this, if we grab an individual piece, it's like it has like holes in it. You know what I mean? So it's not actually the actual original vector art, it's vectorized. You know, so who knows where the how the original who knows how it was made, but like this version is, you know, not pure, if you want to say it like that. So to make it even to bring it into a place where we can have it be usable, like we have to you know we have to re-vectorize everything, and we have to basically create the version that can be animated, which is the whole thing. So and then there's even you know this character is nice, this is a cute character, and what I was going after a darker vibe, so I still think I want to use this character, but the game name of the game is Dark Mallard, you know. Is I don't know why, it's just that I just you know I think I was talking with Claude, the AI, and yeah, no, we came up with that idea, and I was like, "Fuck, that's a cool idea." And then we kind of like pushing the game around this idea of Dark Mallard, and it's kind of led to some inspiration. But like, this is a very nice, cute character, and but I wanted something hard. So then we ended up, you know, we did a lot of AI iterations, but then we ended up with something. I'll show you actually what we ended up with. Actually, I do have the references. Let me pull up the references. I think they're in here. I'll show you the mid journey, and then how we got here. Yeah. Okay, down here. Okay, actually, let me pull up the. Ugh. I have something on the clipboard pasted. It's gonna be deep, so bear with me for a second. I'm gonna find it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Yeah, okay. So you guys can see here. This is like the one of the things from man, we were going back and forth. Mid journey ChatGPT. This is one of the character references here. But if you pay attention, you'll notice some things, namely the beak. Beak is a big thing. Of course, the shadows are, who the fuck knows what's going on with the shadows here, perspective wise. But I mean, as far as the actual, kind of perspective, like there's certain things that I do like, and the things that I did like, I like the head shape. So I did was, I took the head shape from this, and I brought it over here, and so and I got the head shape, and then I used the mouse shapes, and then what I had to do, but I had to do this. This is actually This is original. I pulled this, man. Man, this is like, I'll tell you, like, that's why I do feel you can use anything for anything. Like I create. Okay, so this is from Gemini, I believe, like, or something like this is from Gemini. Let me see. I'll show you what is from Gemini. Wait, where is it? Here it is. So this is what's from Gemini. Okay, so we had this from Gemini. Of course, this is what we started with. So you can see, like, you know what I mean? So one of the things I had to preserve because I don't have the skill is the mouth shapes. So we have the mouth shapes. That was like one of the biggest W's, is finding the set of different characters inside of the Shuttershock library thing, because man, mouth shapes are hell. So like, because I just yeah, I just, it's very difficult. So finding them, so we have to preserve the mouse. We have no choice but to preserve the mouse shapes. But the next level, we can mess around with the next level, and even eventually, probably we can play with the mouse shapes when it comes to facial expressions. But yeah, we can't do that. So then it was like, okay, so we have to. What's but this character's too nice. So that's how we ended up with something like this. We ended up with something like this, and then on top of that, but then we had to adapt it to a different face, you know. So then we ended up with something like this, and this has some of the shadowing from an earlier form. And by the way, the girl, I just wanted to bring in some level of shadow for her, to, like, some ideas for her to play with now. Because this, I mean, I will say the shadows here are just basically arbitrary, right? Basically arbitrary, but I just get an idea. But you see, so I had to bring that in. Um, so yeah, we basically brought in eyebrows from like maybe some Gemini, and then we like adapted the eyebrows, and to this, and then we have the shadows from whatever character this was back in the day. Then and then we have the mouth shapes from this, but then we had to obviously we retraced all of these, and then of course there's like, obviously differences, because we had to we re-vectorized all of these by hand. Um, And so even I'm gonna have to when I have to re-vectorize, I'm re-vectorizing the original character regardless. Um, so that's already partly done, and that's a stylistic thing as well. And there's also an interesting thing with the idea of even how we're doing this, and just even I think I'm making even some mistakes when it comes to this, because I don't know. It's like, what is, and this and sometimes at some point you gotta like just do stuff, and that's what we're doing. We're taking action. But like, for example, like the idea of the animation, like what does it actually mean, and what does it mean to be animating a thing? And that's one of the things that I don't fully understand. So for example, this place where the teeth are technically like crunching down on the lip, like and causing this, like, you know so it's causing this like bubbling on the lip. Like, even this is wrong, I think. I don't think, actually. So when I made it like yesterday, I didn't I'm like not realizing the effect. Like, the effect here that you want is the teeth coming down on that lip, which, even, I mean, it's a beak, right? But the teeth coming down on the lip, it's gonna have a pulsing moment. So you should have some overlap here. You should have kind of similar to what we have down here. We have we kind of have it coming up and down. Now, even this, I don't think it's enough. I think we probably need to push it up even more. You know, this is one of those things, like, yeah, playing with the idea, and what elements are staying in between the different frames as well. How are we naming everything? Is it named consistently? And it's not, by the way. It's like as I was going through each of these, you start to, oh well, oh this should be grouped here, and then so if you, I don't know. So if you're a god, you'd go back through and clean it all up, right? You know, and we probably will at the very end. Um, but man, it's fun, man. It's fun to go through everything. Um, even this, like it is stylistically different than okay. See, even so, this like when we color stuff like this, like right now, I can see that I left one of the layers underneath right here. So it's like an old thing. Wait a minute. What in the world? How did I do that? Oh, I would have not done that. So even this right here, I see that I made this, and it has a fill. But if we go to one of the other things, I didn't make anything else like that. I didn't make anything else with a fill. I don't think. Let me just double check because like all of these, I made it. All of these were made. Where is it? Yeah, all of these. If you look at the there's a layer. Yeah, there's a lower layer here where I'm covering half of the fucking thing. Um, yeah, what the fuck? Okay. Um, oh man, it's not zoomed in enough. Uh, Anyway, you can kind of see there's a layer here where it's just the actual. Can I explain it? Uh, if I turn it off, you'll see. So the layer is just the color, and then there's another layer. It's the outline. You can kind of see it flashing. But I did that because I wanted that point. I wanted it to come down to a point, but I wanted that to be consistent across the different pieces. That energy of coming down to a point. But I was having issues with. I didn't want to actually cut this off. I didn't want to cut it out every time. I wanted that to be separate. So even that. So it's like again. So it's like an experiment every time coming through. And so I don't even like that. I deleted that just now because uh, I don't even because I don't even want. So it's a good thing I have it anyway. So we'll go ahead and let me go ahead and change the color of that to this. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna even remove the fill here because I don't even yeah. So look, it looks the same, right? Does it look the same? Is it? Because it is the same because I didn't change anything. Ha 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 ha. Check out these bizarre. Okay, yeah. So it looks the same, but but now it's different. Now we have the now we have it as it's supposed to be with everything else. You know, it's a good example, man. Shit. Yeah. And even these, like, these aren't like, yeah, they are separate pieces, I think. Yeah. But anyway, so sometimes I get annoyed because the layer looks wrong. But anyway, it's okay. Yeah, we have arms, bent arms. Just move them out. They don't all need to be in their own thing. Move the tail. So, oh, I did want to show you this. I did want to show the streets this. What time? How long am I recording? How long do I want this video to be? 30 minutes? Let's just do a 30 minute. Okay. So I wanted to show you. This is the so I got this character, but this is what we ended up with. Ooh, that's kind of hard, right? That's kind of hard, right? Let me turn off the background with the other thing. You know what I mean? It ain't that kind of hard, you know? You know? And this is kind of the version without the shadows. But that's what I've been playing with, you know? This nigga talking shit. I can imagine that, you know? So this is what I'm playing with. But anyway, oh, to go back to the original thread, or the original thread. Yeah, it's one of the things that I'm missing these days, and I'll go back to maybe we'll go like we'll go middle screen. One of the things I'm missing these days is that just to be able to look at some people and bullshit, you know, not debate. You know, I do a lot of it's not I do a lot of even debating. I was doing a lot of debating recently, but just random subjects. But sometimes and people take a lot of the stuff as debate, and even when my friends was getting frustrated, um, he said I just debate to debate, which by the way I resent. I really resent that idea that like debating to debate. It's like I'm not debating to debate. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about something, and I want to bounce that idea off of somebody else. It's like usually I see a thread, I see something from X, some YouTube video, and it complicates something that I've thought of for a long time. Like in my siloed arena of the world, AI is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then you go and you interact with the art world, and you're like, oh, these people really don't fuck with AI at all, and they're making really good fucking points. They're making really good points. And then there's a side of the internet that doesn't fuck with AI because it's producing absolute slop, and it makes the to an extent it just makes going on the internet just a worst experience because people are selling their soul and selling out to produce this abject garbage on for everybody, just algorithmically generated shit. And then but then you have there's other perspective, then you have your own perspective, and it's like the, like AI, it can be one of the most useful tools, and it's like it can be the tool for the job, but not everything is a nail. So it's interesting, and and it's not an all. It's not a one size fits all, and so it's an interesting thing to play with, and one of the ways to play with it for me is like put an idea out there, and it's like even though okay, building up the idea of having a therapy AI, dude. On one hand, a therapy AI is such a horrendous, god awful idea, um, because on one hand it's a terrible idea, and it's like you don't want. Why is it necessarily a bad idea? What's the actual threat of that? The threat of that is uh, the steel man of the other side would be like, you're solving a problem that doesn't exist, and I would say you're solving a problem that doesn't. Like human therapists have been decent, have been pretty good for a long time. People need real therapy with real people who can sit down with and listen to their problems and respond to them as human beings in the moment. And some of that will require delving into specific issues. You can't have potentially a censored AI talking to somebody about sexual assault or something super wildly deep. You can't have a system that has been, you know, manipulated on the other side by through forces that you're not even aware. Interacting with somebody, it just adds in a level of unknown that really is a lot of bit unacceptable when it comes to the world of um, even if it's coaching. It's like do you want this thing, you know, and is it the tool for the job? Of course, on the meta, on the on the grand scheme of things, is the AI therapist, AGI therapist, gonna be better than the human therapist? Of course. Just by definition, has all the knowledge in the world. It can, it infinitely can. It just know, I don't know. I hate talking about the AGI or just this idea of AI because you're literally talking about something that we would akin to a god or something. It's silly to even a lot of times for me to even discuss it because it's like, yeah, the theoretical is that the AI takes over everything because by definition it would be better at everything across the board. Uh, unless and then the only thing would just be like the human AI synthesis is like we become something else. But so there's just a lot of this. Again, it's a lot of interesting discussions to be had, and yeah, part of it is hey, pushing back on hey, we should automate this with AI. Well, should we be automating this with AI? Because a lot of people, Duolingo had a lot of backlash with AI, and I agree with a lot of the comments. But at the same time, they're able to serve a lot more people. So 50, like, well, where do we end up with that? So it's so I guess so I'm having some of those discussions, but it is interesting. It is interesting. Yeah, that lack of uh, it's interesting. So I guess I do explore some of those ideas, but it would be more interesting to be able to explore the creative ideas with a group of creative people who want to get in the weeds on some bullshit idea that you had. It's just some like, hey, I'm language learning app. We have these little characters. We got this fucking duck. We got this fucking duck. Why? Cause it's a fucking badass duck, man. So I found this badass duck, and I want to make a fucking language learning app. You know what I mean? And somebody's like, yeah, dude, what if the duck's fucking, you know what I mean? Like, you know, what if the duck is a monk? And what if the duck's dad is a monk, and his brother is John Wick, and they go, you know what I mean? Like, just fuck around with me on that. You know what I mean? And the AI, that's one of the things for me. Like, the AI can do something, and I've had some fun, and AI's been able to help out something. But like, the AI can't fuck with you like that. AI can't improv with you. And that's the you want some like that improv, man. I don't have that improv in my life right now, so that's what I'm gonna do with that girl. We're gonna be doing some. I hope. And if not her, then we'll play her on someone else. But that improv, that repartee, is that the word? Repartee. That'd be nice. And listen, if you ain't got it, pay for it. Even but and I'll be doing a lot more. I live in Bangkok. Some people know, and I'm going to be doing a lot more events in the near future here. Uh, it's got a lot of like just local AI hangouts, build buddies, or something like something this Saturday. Build buddies. It's like a now what the one thing about Bangkok I don't like is like, everything is Web3. I don't really fuck with Web3 like that to be honest. I'm a Web2 guy. I never really. I mean, listen, I was all in with everybody else in 2021, 2022. Um, but yeah, it's just I'm not. I think crypto probably like something like crypto is the future, but like I'm not. It's not for me. I'll let it get to wherever it gets to, and then I'll get on the train, and I'll miss the money and all that shit, and that's fine. I've lost I've lost way too much money on shit like that, and what else do I want to say about it? It's just such a wild west. But I like I like AI. But honestly, but everything, yeah, everything here is AI or it's Web3. So I'm going to both. I don't give a shit. I'm going to both. But yeah, so you know, and I did meet a dev. I went to a local. I went to a book. I went to a book club and I met this back end developer. It's like a Java guy, which is fucking cool. Dude knew a lot of shit. He was showing me. He was walking me down like what Kubernetes was and fucking what Kubernetes was on AWS and like spinning up Docker containers and shit. I really enjoyed that talk. It was fun. And I understood all of it. Dude was a fantastic teacher, senior guy. He was like he's young. He's 32, 36, something like that. He was young, super cool. But I do more shit like that, and even the extent to which we have to pay for interactions with other creatives, like need it, want it, desire it, put like fucking really, yeah, need that shit, need that to the face, man. So I'm gonna keep cooking on this, and I'll actually post this one. I never post, dude. I make a lot of these, and I don't post half of them, but this one seems pretty coherent. So I'm actually gonna post it. So I don't know what the title would be though. It'd be like vibe. What would you say like vibe vectorizing, vibing while vectorizing, vibe vectorizing. Anyway, cheers.